Okay, here it comes. And actually, this is just a very short preview of the results of the survey. It's not the complete results, and it's not really an analysis, as I just put this together during the lunch breaks and since the lunch break. So just wanted to share with everyone a quick preview of what we found from this survey. Thanks to everyone for participating. And then the UNEC, OECD, and others will go dig into the results a bit more and take everything into consideration. So this is just to share information, as you may find it interesting and in full transparency. What did we find from running this survey? And of course, a particular interest for running the survey is for potentially the next event, including whether or not there should be a next event and what we should consider for that next event. So it seemed like nearly everyone, essentially everyone, would like to do this again. So that's very encouraging. I think that's quite a clear result there. We had about 56 or so respondents, thanks to everyone. And yes, I think everyone would like to do this again. So apparently there is a value in this event, and we should continue. Okay. So then we asked about the format, in particular in terms of in-person, as we've done this year for the first time in a while, versus virtual and other formats. Now, again, we'll dig into the full results and including any written comments later on, and take that into account. But I think we could summarize by saying there is an appetite for in-person meetings of this kind. So that again, I think that's a good confirmation. We asked a couple of questions about content in comparison to this event and what we should consider in the next time. So I think it's hard to draw a conclusion for these next two questions because there's quite a spread. So the first question was kind of about themes, so from capacity building to case studies to I'm not sure how well you can see the whole list there. I put the list on the right column there because it's not really so clear from the graph. And then we had two respondents who wrote in their own suggestions, so I put them in the slide as well. But just to quickly summarize, it looks like again, not to discount the other responses, which we would take into account as well, but just to summarize, the most popular responses were about SEA implementation case studies, which I think is maybe the most common element from this year as well. Also, data gap filling. So that's interesting. And the third, maybe most common, was discussion on SEA relationships with emerging issues, such as the circular economy session that we had, for example. And the other content-related slide was about accounts or domains or environmental domains. And again, there's quite a spread of interest. This is going to be hard for us to make a choice. When we form the next organizing committee, will probably depend a lot on the committee to help us decide on this kind of content, because it seems like there's quite a spread of interest. Again, the top three were, interestingly, again, ecosystems, both condition and services, which was also the case last year, which is why we did the whole day on ecosystems this year. And forests, followed by energy, air emissions, but then you can see environmental protection expenditure as well, sorry. That was about as popular as the forest. So we will definitely take that into account, but given the spread, I think it will be a difficult choice next year. Then this was kind of just a special addition to the survey, not really relevant to the theme of next year's seminar, but I wanted to throw this in there out of my own curiosity. So first of all, we asked about a policy making based on SEA in your country, and about a dozen said yes, and also typed in links or the titles of specific examples. So first of all, thanks very much to everyone who did that. So I have that. We have that now to make use of, and that's definitely useful information for us to use. But quite a lot said no, which is quite curious because I think in all of our sessions we did talk about the policy applications, and that was of course intentional. So it's kind of a curious response, but I think there maybe I should have had a follow-up for if no, why not? Because I think there could be many reasons for that. And this, if you allow me, Chair, I mean, this is not for discussion. As I said, we just wanted to share. But if you allow me to just, by way of explanation, one reason that I wanted to include this, sort of sneak this question into the surveys, because I was also asked during the last year to do some research on this topic, sort of impact analysis of the SIA work, and to understand better the uptake of our work in policymaking. And I think there's really quite a few reasons why this is a difficult question to answer. And I think that's really a challenge that we all have. It's not that the work is not policy relevant. I think it's very policy relevant, but it's also more fundamental to our statistical work, and so more indirectly relevant to policy making. That's one reason. I think there are others, but I think it's a basic challenge that we're all facing. It's one of the reasons we made it a bit of a theme throughout the seminar. But it's maybe something and I think it's something we could help each other with as well. That's why I wanted to collect some examples as well. So that's just, again, that was not for discussion, but just to share that information, and we'll dig into this a bit more as a follow-up.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel, for this sort of a short preview of the results. And one thing that then we can say for sure about the results will be that we had the decision to have another meeting in 1 year's time. And when we plan, we will take all of this into consideration on the format of the meeting and the topics we wish to handle and so on. Because we had so many topics that we want to handle, and we started the meeting with Lydia asking us if we want to have a seminar, or what should we call it. We can have a festival for 2 weeks and then we can cover everything. But maybe we can also discuss this in the organizing committee. But we will take into consideration everything we have had in the survey. We did not produce any conclusions on the substance part of the seminar, because there have been so many topics and so many good presentations. It's impossible to do that in any short way. But the Secretariat will have a draft report ready in some time, and then it will be shared with all of you, and it will have the conclusions, and also you can comment on it and share your thoughts on it. And so this, I think, brings us to closing this year's seminar. And there is an evaluation survey that has just been sent to all of you participants, and you can fill it in, and we hope you do. And you can also think about all the topics that you now already see, and also maybe start pondering what you could offer us next year in presentations. I have heard that crocodiles, sometimes when they eat a lot, they will then dig into the mud and they will digest for maybe some weeks there. And you can do this now, you can go home and then you can digest. You don't have to dig under anything, but just think about it. And then after some months, we will be back in touch with this one. Yes, and I would like to then thank everyone. I would like to, of course, thank the organizing committee for planning these sessions and having so many good presentations and speakers and filling out and planning our agenda. I would, of course, like to thank the UNECE and OECD secretariats for all the hard work on making this seminar happen. With, of course, I will now give a special thanks to Michael with all the, you don't know that he has 5 screens here, and he has been flying our spaceship of a seminar, this technical side, this days. And then, of course, all the chairs and speakers. It has been a pleasure to hear what all of you have to say on these topics, of course, our interpreters for all the hard work you have been doing, and conference services, and Caroline, especially for making this run so smoothly. And then also the European Union for funding some of the participants. On the more personal note, this has been my first time chairing this in person, and it has been quite different experience from doing it online last year, co-chairing. But I have really, really liked this, everything, the room and the discussions and everything. It has been really, really nice, and I do encourage everyone, if you have the possibility, to have this as in-person meeting and attending, because there, in addition to the presentations, you will have good discussions, and it is nice to meet people face to face and have some also discussion during coffee and dinner. So, with that note, I would like to close the seminar this year, and this will be my last time that I get to use this.
Big applause
Yes.
for you and to Mike.